Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm on my late night walk. It is currently 9:18 p.m. so a bit late. I've started about a mile away from where I actually live. Don't want to dox myself, but let's talk about Daniel Larson. As we know, Daniel, it was very creepy. The stuff with Grace Vanderwall. He was also very easy to troll, like Dragon Lord, or also known as Rainer Winkler. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Daniel Larson has been released from prison, which is insane. He was making terroristic threats, threatening to kill people, and bro just gets released. I know people who will spend more time in prison for minorly offensive tweets in the UK than Daniel has spent in prison after making bomb threats. And I was honestly expecting, when I first heard about Daniel Larson, I was expecting it to go down the, what's his name? Ricardo Lopez route. He's the man who fell in love with a singer called Bjork, even though the two had never met. He found out the dude that she was dating a black man. He got pretty upset and he ended up building an acid bomb. Once he sent it on shipment, you can actually find his recorded tapes. This was in the 90s. There's tapes that are on an archive online. He then killed himself after making this acid bomb. He wanted to do it with HIV needles, ran into a roadblock. Wanted to do it with hydrochloric acid, wasn't really corrosive enough. Then he wanted to do it with, sulfuric acid, which was good enough. The thing is, he took his life. The video's online, in fact. You can see the video of him actually ending his life uncensored, pretty easy with a search. You just look up Ricardo Lopez tapes and you'll find every single tape he recorded from the start of the obsession to his dying breath. And it brings up a very big concern of severe mental health issues and extreme delusions. And with Ricardo Lopez, it's a very bizarre case because I was expecting Daniel Larson to end up being another Ricardo Lopez. I was expecting him to become dangerously obsessive to the point where it led to severe problems, because that has happened and it will happen again. Unfortunately, stuff like mental illness isn't dealt with properly enough, and I'm not saying mental illness is an excuse. If you mail an acid bomb to somebody, you should be buried under the prison. You shouldn't even get life in prison. You should be put immediately on death row. But when it comes to stuff like mental health awareness, being aware of a lot of the things that hint towards a mental decline, like Ricardo Lopez, could have prevented a tragedy. Now, luckily, the singer Bjork never received the package. 4 days after Ricardo Lopez died, they found his body along with the tapes. The package had been in transit those 4 days as well, on its way to London. The US authorities saw the tape. I believe they contacted Scotland Yard, and it was in a warehouse, I think. I might be wrong there. I don't have another device I can look it up on. In that shadow there's a little critter. What's this creature? But yeah, it's a severe matter. Especially, you just need to kind of talk to your friends and, check in with everybody every now and then, because it might make all the difference. But I was expecting Daniel Larsson to end up the same, because I had seen all of the videos of Ricardo Lopez, and I was expecting it to be identical to Daniel Larsson to be identical to Ricardo Lopez. There's a little creature over in the distance. I think it's a hedgehog. I was going to get a bit distracted. It's either a hedgehog or a squirrel. Oh, this is going to be completely off topic. I'm either going to leave this in or cut it. Or, nah, is that a cat? What fucking kind of creature is that? Oh, that's a cat. Yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, there are some similarities between Daniel Larsson and Ricardo Lopez. The obsessive nature, the anger, the use of racial slurs, stuff like that. And those were the things that really made me go, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. And it was that moment that made me realise, somebody needs to intervene with Daniel. I was very lucky at the time where I found out about Daniel. Oh my god, is that a nuke? No, it's just car headlights. The moment I found out about Daniel, it was already kind of, I think it was a year, maybe a year and a half before he got arrested. I remember it was a Larson leak, and I watched a lot of the Creeping Lemur. Fuck that guy, by the way, piece of shit. And, I was concerned because I knew that the path Daniel was heading down would either end in jail, somebody getting injured, and somebody potentially losing their life. And as much as it is fun to troll people, when it comes to severe mental illness, you trolling somebody, yeah, it is funny. I find it hilarious. I still find it hilarious. But it's also important to acknowledge the way you do it could, alter the timeline we currently live in, where, if you didn't do it, something may not have happened. Like, say, in the future, Daniel Larsson attacked Grace Vanderwall, hypothetically, of course, and she was injured, and it was because a troll said something to Daniel, and then Daniel took it seriously, and then when Grace said something that went against it, Daniel flies off the rails. Stuff like that is a real scenario that happens. I find it hilarious still to troll, but it is a matter of, if you're going to troll somebody, you've got to be careful. Oh, I've always liked that house. That's my dream house. I'm actually in the area my Uncle David used to live. He passed away on Monday this week, so yeah, it's been a bit of a heavy blow in the family, but there's what was it, Jimmy Carr says, grief is the price we pay for love. And when it comes to the trolling, obviously, yeah, it's fun, it's funny, yeah, we all love a bit of it, but I believe we shouldn't be using real world people to manipulate lolcows into doing things, because it creates a real danger for that person who could then be victimized by that lolcow. Just like how, what was his name? Let's use Andrew Tate for an example. Him wanting the names of his victims. I'm going to even go off on a little tangent here. First of all, he won't get the names of the victims until he's been detained. Because the victims were minors, they are granted lifelong anonymity until he is detained, and even then the names can't be released to the public, otherwise it may constitute a crime, it may go against bail conditions, stuff like that. But real world harassment has come from his cases before. There was a case in America where one of his victims was confronted in public, harassed in public, online, even at her family home, which isn't right, and it never will be right. But when you've got stuff like Daniel Larson, if you troll him the wrong way, there's a real chance he could end up hurting people. We've seen him get into altercations. We've seen him in shops when he's been trolled. I think it's the Panera Bread one where he was about to hit the guy and he was like just yelling and shit. I'd prefer to avoid those situations because I know that I don't care about Daniel. I'm gonna be real. I don't care about him, but I care about the people around him and the fact that they could get hurt. That is a very real and realistic scenario. I ride my bike down here every single fucking day. And in fact, 40 miles down there is where I record most of my videos. I'm sorry I've not recorded many videos. I've been going through amphetamine withdrawal. I've got ADHD. I'm on a central nervous system stimulant called lisdexamfetamine, and you know I wanted to come off of it because it could be the main cause of my liver problems, which we've now got a diagnosis for, and it's nothing life-threatening. It's lifestyle changes, but I've been going through the hell of withdrawal for quite a while, and I'm finally got the energy to get up and do something, and I feel a lot better. I've been off of them for 2 weeks. I only count the 2 weeks just because I did have a relapse, and so I reset the time. So before the relapse, it was 3 weeks. But I'm going quite strong now. I don't feel like I need them. But the thing is, medication's a very weird thing. Because I find I function better without the medication. But there's other conditions where you need the medication to function. So don't take my advice, because everybody's different. And it's like with Daniel, he's now taking his medication, and now obviously it's too short to tell if it's actually working, but he did seem to have a moment of self-awareness in the comment section of, I think it was Grace Vanderwall's post, talking about how he's on his meds now and he's sorry, and I do think the delusion is still there. I think he knows that he was being trolled and that it wasn't the real Grace he was in contact with. But I still think there's a level of delusion that is keeping him kind of tied to this woman. That he believes that he's dating her, or he believes he will date her. Oh, by the way, I was walking here a few months